pre-recorded from Flagstaff at 12:24 p.m. It's Miss Knappenberger's history class. I know, you wanted it to say it's Saturday Night Live, but no, tragically, most of that's not appropriate. Hope you guys are doing well. We are here to talk about the balance of power and hopefully get to Archduke Ferdinand's assassination, which is excellent. I'm only going to do 20 minutes and some really terrible drawings. So let me go ahead and start my timer. Let's get to it. So last time we were talking about how the main causes of World War I make the acronym MAIN, and it's great. Anyways, okay, here's where stuff starts to get really odd and annoying and confusing. There's a lot of stuff in here that's really odd, annoying, and confusing, but this is a great place to start. Because of good old Metternich and the Congress of Vienna, after the Napoleonic Wars, and good old short little, okay, he's not that short, we know, Napoleon grabbed all of that power. The rest of them were like, hey, maybe we should keep France from doing that, because that sucked really bad. So, one of the things that they're trying to do is they're trying to keep a balance of power. This is our little seesaw slide. A seesaw is not a slide, I'm sorry. Seesaw drawing? There we go. Words. I swear I've had all the coffee I'm allowed to have today. Oh, goodness. So, in our balance of power in Europe, everybody starts joining lots of different alliances for lots of different reasons. So, for example, Germany allies with Austria-Hungary because they're both kind of sort of Germanic, and they both kind of sort of have the same goals. And then also joining these guys, we're going to end up having Italy and the Ottoman Empire. And the Ottoman Empire is not necessarily in here because they love Germany and Austria-Hungary. It's because they don't like who's on the other side. Because on the other side, we have France, and France makes an alliance with Russia, who has an alliance with Serbia. And then Great Britain makes an alliance with France, and therefore is kind of, sort of, against Germany, I guess, and kind of, sort of, with Russia. Anyways, but the Ottoman Empire has been treated very badly recently by Great Britain, France, and Russia. They have been chipping away pieces of the Ottoman Empire, allowing states like Greece and Bulgaria to break off of the Ottoman Empire and become independent nations. So these guys are actually over here. And a whole bunch of other guys who want to break away from the Ottoman Empire are going to join this side. So, for example, all of the Arabs in the Arab Peninsula, they're not really countries right now necessarily. They're all just kind of like hanging out, doing their best life. But they will eventually join with this side because they're tired of the Ottoman Empire having taken over. And then, of course, all of the colonies go with the other sides as well. So on this side, is it really a balance of power? Because over here we have all of India and like 2/3 of Africa. And you might say to yourself, where is Spain? Spain is not really hanging out in World War I. If I remember correctly, they're in the middle of their own civil war, and they're kind of busy. And so everybody's, like, fighting, and Spain's like, so we're just gonna stay over here? Well, what up? Kind of a thing. Also, fun fact, Spanish flu. Spanish flu is called Spanish flu because apparently Spain was the only government that was reporting real news about things like global pandemics because they were not involved with World War I. So everybody else is really careful and cautious on the kinds of news they're putting out. Can you even imagine if, like, Germany was like, yeah, we're doing so great on the war front, except for that whole, like, flu thing that's going around and we're all dying. And then France is like, oh, what a great time to hit Germany really hard. So all these guys are, like, lying through their teeth about the Spanish flu, which is just the flu, and Spain is the only one who's actually reporting it. So it becomes known as the Spanish flu because they're the only ones who are saying anything. Okay, so over here we have bits o' Africa, and that's about it. Very sad. Anyways, all of this is going to be very difficult and annoying because we have lots of different names. So, for example, the Triple Alliance is Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy, pre-World War I. And then we have the Triple Entente. Entente just being a fancy French word for agreement. And this is France and Russia hanging out together, and then France and Great Britain hanging out together, even though Britain doesn't really like France. And so we have these two sides sort of just squaring up. And again, with that militarism, they are just like shooting daggers at each other with each other's glances. This is totally one of those, do you bite your thumb, sir? I do bite my thumb, sir. Do you bite your thumb at me, sir? I do bite my thumb, sir. Situations, kind of a thing. Okay. So what sets all of this off? It is good old Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Now, Archduke Franz Ferdinand is not a terrible human. I know, we're all totally shocked. I know. Oh dear, it has occurred to me that when I use this notebook, it's a lot harder to scooch up and still write on. I think I'm going to have to move the camera. I'm sorry, I know you hate this. This is terrible. That could have been worse. Okay, so we have Archduke Ferdy. No, but then then that happens and that's terrible. No, why? Come on, friend, you can do it. I believe in you. Isn't it so much fun to have all these technical difficulties not at school, too? It's hilarious, I know. Okay, so we have Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He is the heir apparent to the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He has a very big mustache in my drawings. Hello, I'm Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Hooray! I'm Archduke Ferdy. But he is poised to take over the entire Austro-Hungarian Empire. So he's not like small potatoes over here kind of a thing. He is big and large and in charge. Now, he understands that the Austro-Hungarian Empire is really struggling right now because of all of the different ethnicities and nationalities and cultures and religions that are all being put together in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And he's like, this is tough. We should do something about this. Now, unfortunately for Archduke Ferdy, it is the classic story of empire, too little, too late. And everybody is like, should have done something sooner. So we have this terrorist organization known as the Black Hand. Look, a hand, and I'm going to color it in. See, it's a it's a black hand. Okay, and they were a terrorist group for sure, but they were also a Serbian nationalist group. So they're interested in trying to force the Austro-Hungarian Empire to let Serbia go and back off of their business and all that kind of stuff, and because they're not super in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, but like they're right there. Anyways, so the Serbian nationalist group is trying to get rid of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and they're going to do that through Archduke Ferdinand. And they're thinking also that it'll be a lot of other Slavic victories as well. The Austro-Hungarian Empire will be forced to release all of these different Slavic groups that are currently inside the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So they recruit young, sad, and impressionable Gavrilo Princip. I am going to give him a scumstash. There he is. Gavrilo Princip. Because he is a baby. Gavrilo Princip. He is like 16 when he's recruited by the Black Hand. I don't think he really gets it. He's just over here like, hey man, I want to get involved. Yeah, I have lots of feelings because hormones and I don't know what to do about them. So how about I join a terrorist group? This is really why, like, y'all need to stay away from secret societies and spy groups and stuff like that when you're teenagers, because they're trying to take advantage of the fact that your poor brain is just bathing in the hormone soup and it's terrible and everything is awful. So Gavrilo Princip is over here like, I feel so strongly about this. But he's like 16. He feels strongly about everything. That's how teenagers are going. Like, that's just how teenagers work. So anyways, he joins the Black Hand, and the Black Hand is like, ooh, hey, friends. Archduke Franz Ferdinand is going to be in Sarajevo to do some kind of, festival thing. Whatever, nobody cares. We should definitely try to assassinate him while he's hanging out in Sarajevo, because it's not that far from where we live. And Gavrilo Princip is like, oh man, yeah, that sounds super great. Can I get in on this? And they're like, yeah, man, we are going to put lots of different people on this assassination plan and see where it leads us. And he's like, yay, I'm so excited to try and kill somebody. Anyways. Oh, and his wife, Sophie, is going to be in the car, too. Here's Sophie. She has pretty hair. Woo! She's in the car. They're in a car. In a car. Sophie, she's in the car. She's waving. She has many arms. This is her dress. Yay, okay. Anyways, here we are. It's a car. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, nobody ever accused me of being a good artist. Anyways, so they go to Sarajevo. They're hanging around town. The local, governor and whatever is, leading them around. They go to City Hall. They're making all these kinds of speeches. But they hear that there is an assassination attempt going on. So they're, having to change all their plans to, make sure that, the Archduke isn't getting assassinated and all this kind of stuff. And then several sort of odd and oddly timed things happen all at once. So, first off, the driver of the car... That's terrible. The driver of the car does a couple of odd things. He hears about, I believe there was another bomb that went off nearby and, had hurt a bunch of people. And, it occurs to me really quickly, I'm not sure if my thing is turned on or not. How many more minutes do I have? 7.5, who cares? The driver of the car is like, I'm gonna go a different route to avoid things, and so they would have gone right past Gavrilo Princip, and then they didn't, and he was like, oh dang, I guess my turn to try and kill the Archduke is gone. And he's like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna go get a sandwich. I am not kidding about this. So he goes to get a sandwich, and then he comes back out, and because of the alternating route and, people who are, blocking the way and all that kind of stuff, guess whose car is, coming around the corner right there? Oh my god, it's the Archduke's. And so Gavrilo Princip, drops his sandwich and, basically steps right up to the car and shoots them. All of them. There's a bunch of people in the back seat, too, and they get shot, too. But, Archduke Ferdinand is shot several times, and Sophie is shot several times, and I think the driver is shot, and he manages to keep driving, and it's, nuts, and it's chaos, and he shoots them at, point blank kind of a thing. And it's so sad, because Archduke Ferdinand wasn't the worst person ever. There are lots of other worse leaders at the same time. So, he's trying to bring the nation together, he's listening to the people, he's willing to make change, and it's not enough for the Black Hand, so they assassinate him. So Gavrilo Princip kills him, and his last words are so sad. His last words are like, Sophie, darling, live for the children, because they, really loved each other and had a bunch of kids, and she was already dead. But he didn't know it, because he was so out of it, but she was, totes dead, and he was like, Sophie, darling. Oh my god, it's so upsetting. Anyways, Gavrilo Princip, then, is like, haha, I did what I was supposed to do, but what I'm also supposed to do is to commit suicide so that I am not captured and can't be, tortured to give away information about the Black Hand. So he pops a cyanide capsule. Fun side note, the cyanide capsule was out of date and had expired. So he does not die. So he also, I believe, jumps in the river, and then they, fish him out of the river. And the cyanide capsule just, eats away at his intestines and fun stuff like that. He is convicted. He goes to jail eventually, and he dies in jail. 2 or 3 years later, he's like 21. He has lost a leg to like gangrene. He's super sick. Well, obviously he's super sick. He weighs like 86 pounds, and he dies before the end of World War I. But this is what kicks it all off, because the Austro-Hungarian Empire is like, yo, Serbia, what the heck? And the Austro-Hungarian Empire is like, yo, Serbia, like, you need to, like, give all these people up or we're going to go to war with you. And really, they do not give them good terms. They're basically like, hey, do what we want or do what we want. And Serbia's like, yo, no? And Austria-Hungary's like, how dare you say no to our totally unfair terms? So Russia comes in and is like, yo, you bothering my little brother Serbia? And Austria-Hungary is like, I'm not sure. So Germany comes in and they're like, no, Austria-Hungary, we totally gotta, like, go to war, man. Like, this is a thing we gotta do. So Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia and Russia, and then Germany declares war on Russia and Serbia, and then Great Britain and France get involved, but Great Britain, like, the last, because they don't want to do anything ever. They're like, ugh, the stupid continentals. So France declares war on Germany and also Austria-Hungary, and then Great Britain declares war on Germany and Austria-Hungary, but then Italy pops in and is like, hey man, what's going on? And it says ciao, and it's super fun. And then all of a sudden, we're in the middle of World War I. Now, the other super weird thing about World War I is everybody has this, like, swaggering overconfidence, and they legitimately think it's going to be over in, like, 2 months. So they're like, meh, we might as well fight everybody because it's going to be over in, like, 10 days. Like, it's not even going to get started. And then a whole bunch of bad things happen that mean it lasts forever. Or what feels like forever. Yes, there we go. Now, the big issue that we have is, okay, so we've got, oh dear, it's time for really bad drawings. Okay, so here's Great Britain, whee, and Ireland, whee. Then we kind of sort of have France, boo boo, little other things up here, da 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 da, Luxembourg, Sweden, Switzerland, sorry, not Sweden, Germany, da da da, then we go down here, we have Italy, ba 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 ba, Spain, bram. Anyways, so Germany's over here. And then also like Poland, Austria-Hungary, blah 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 blah, Russia, right? Russia. Germany is like, okay, we're in the middle. This could go very, very badly because our enemies are over here and over here on opposite sides of us. So, like, we would have to, like, split our forces, and, like, that's a bad idea. And we have known for many, many centuries that that's a bad idea. Divide and conquer is totally a concept that normal people do. So Germany is like, all right, here's what's going to happen. We're going to go over to France, kick their butts really bad, and then run over to Russia, and then kick their butts really bad. So Germany is like, okay, we'll do this, like, gate swing movement through Belgium. Because, who cares about Belgium? Like, no big deal. They're just gonna, like, cower and fall over, right? No big deal. They call this the Schlieffen Plan, which is a great name. Schlieffen Plan. The Schlieffen Plan is get through Belgium, whack France for all they're worth before France can rally the troops, and then once France is so easily defeated, run over to Russia and whack Russia apart before Russia has had a chance to really even know what's going on. Now, this does not work because of Belgium. Belgium tweet is like, yo, what the heck, Germany? And Germany's like, oh, are you not going to give up really passively? And Belgium's like, no, you've annoyed us. And it gives France time to get together. So then what happens is they end up fighting a couple initial battles. And they decide to build trenches to keep their positions. So essentially what happens is we have a border of trench fighting all through France. This is called the Western Front because it's on the western half of Europe. Wow. And then there is an Eastern Front, which is like super freaking long, and it's over by Russia. Unlike World War II, this one is mainly fought in Europe proper. There is some random stuff going on in the colonies and elsewhere, but the main battles that are going on are hanging out in these eastern and western fronts over here. And Germany is in fact forced to fight a battle on two fronts, and this is part of what causes them to lose. It's not the whole thing, but it's a good solid part of it anyways. All right, so tomorrow we're going to start talking about the main highlights. Oh, man. Okay, fine. People get renamed. Okay, so now these guys are not the Triple Alliance anymore. They are now the Allied Powers, which is dumb. Because they should have been called, like, the Entente Powers or something like that. And then the Triple Alliance becomes the Central Powers. And then Italy's going to switch sides halfway through. And then also eventually the United States will come in. And then also we got to get the Ottoman Empire over here. And Bulgaria. Because I guess Bulgaria feels some kind of alliance to Austria? Anyways, yep. That, however, is all we have time for today, so looking forward to tomorrow's lecture. It's not really, those were meant to be quotation marks, because you can do this whenever you want, but we're going to sort of go into the war's overview, and then we'll get a little bit into some of the more specific topics, like was the fighting actually done? What does trench warfare actually look like? And there may be more drawing, there may be less drawing. Nobody knows. It's so exciting, day to day. Anyways, miss you. Hope you're having a nice day. Bye.